there, friends. Rebecca here, the Dragon Librarian from Farmington Community Library, and my friend Elle and I are here today to talk to you about two brand new books that we're super excited about because we've read them recently and we think they're absolutely amazing, and we think that you might like them as well. So hopefully you'll find something out of these two books that you might want to read, something new that you haven't heard of before, and we're both very excited, like I said. So this first book is called The Insiders by Mark Oshiro. The Insiders. Now, I first heard about this book because I was looking into the author a little bit. I had heard about them online and wanted to read more of their works. So I found that this book was actually one that we had in the children's department. It is for ages a little bit older. I would say probably 10 or 11, maybe 9, but I would definitely say no earlier than that on this one. But it's a fantastic book. It's got a little bit of sad things in it, but also some really heartwarming things. So one of the blurbs at the top says, sometimes hilarious, sometimes devastating, but always full of heart. And I think that that is just an absolutely perfect way to describe this book, because it is all of those things. It is a little bit sad, but it is also very hopeful and just has so much heart in it. So what's this story about? So it's about a boy named Hector who has just moved to a new school where he used to live in San Francisco and he went to school there. Well, in his new school, he's having a lot of trouble with bullying. He was not having any trouble with that before, but in this new place, he's just really having a hard time. These two specific bullies just will not leave him alone, and he's really, really struggling. And that's a really hard thing to go through, right? I know that some of you have probably been through that before, or maybe even going through it now, and that's tough. I do want to just say, though, that it does get better. Everything does get better. You just got to hang in there. But sometimes reading a book about something like that can help you understand the world and relate to it in a way that's beyond just your own experience, right? Whoa, that's getting a little bit deep there, right, Miss Rebecca? But it's true. If you read a book about something that is also happening to you, it can make you feel not so alone, right? But also make you feel like you're a part of the world as well. So that's what this book did. I loved it so much. So again, with Hector and the bullying. So that's not the main part of the story. The main part of the story is that he's hiding in the janitor's closet at school a lot because that's the only place he feels like he can escape. I know, the janitor's closet. I would have hidden in the library, but that's just me. Anyway, one day when he goes into the janitor's closet, when he shuts the door behind him, he finds that the room has completely transformed. It's no longer a janitor's closet. It's full of all these things that he would absolutely love to have. Video games, there's couch, there's all his favorite kinds of food. And then, even more surprisingly, two other kids from all over the country, like separate corners of the country, also find this room and are in there as well. And they find that they have all been kind of picked on and are sort of outsiders in their own home and community. And they have to try to figure out, well, what has brought them together other than just being these outsiders? And what is this room? Is it really a magic room? What is going on with that? So there's a little bit of a mystery and a little bit of magic as well, which is super fun. Like I said, I love this book. It also is very empowering. Lots of moments to like stand up for yourself and speak your truth. And I just love parts like that in books. So I would highly recommend this book. I love it so much. I would say definitely, though, like I said earlier, probably at the earliest I'd say would be 9 years old and up. But such a great book, full of heart and a lot of great things. The Insiders. The next book, I know you probably have heard of the author, but I didn't know he had a new book coming out, so I'm really excited to present Kaleidoscope by Brian Selznick. You don't recognize that name right away? Well, let me show you the back cover, and then I'm sure you will. What does that look? Does that remind you of anything? If you've ever read the book Wonderstruck or Hugo Cabaret, The Invention of Hugo Cabaret, this is the same author of those books. Now, one thing that's very different is this book is very short. Those other books of his were super, super long, which were fantastic. And this book is fantastic too. It's so different from his other books. But also, I would say it has a little bit of that same magic / wonder, whimsy running through it as well. You never quite know what's going on with this book. So they're kind of... I'm going to try to explain this as best I can. So this book takes two different characters, James and then the narrator, who is unnamed, and it flings them across time and space. So you can read this book two different ways. You can read this book like that, as it was written, that this is the same two characters in different times, in different places in the world and in the universe even. And these stories all connect these two characters together. Or you can read it in a different way and just decide that you actually want to read it as all separate short stories. And that would be okay too. Either way really works. But both of these characters are... they are connected, so you can read them as separate short stories, or you can read it as just a part of a longer narrative. I kind of read it both ways. I read a chapter at a time. I didn't read it all at once, and that was a really cool, fun way to do it for me, because then I found that it was like a new adventure every day. I just want to read you the little introduction here, which is just a couple of lines, which I just absolutely love. And it gives you kind of like the theme of this book, which is you have no idea what you're in for, except it's going to be wonderful and amazing. Kind of like life, right? "Go on," he said. "Look through it." I picked up the kaleidoscope and held it to my eye. "It's beautiful," I said. As I turned the kaleidoscope, the mirrors and colored bits of glass rearranged and fractured the world. "Now look at me," he said. And that's it. There's so much mystery and wonder. I know I keep using the word wonder, but really that is like the best way to describe this book. Another really awesome thing about this book, and really is worth checking out just for this, are the illustrations. So like the title, Kaleidoscope, every chapter has an image, a black and white image of a kaleidoscope artwork. I really wish this had been done in color, because I think it would be even more amazing. But it doesn't matter, because it's still beautiful just the way it is. Not only that, but at the beginning of every story, you have another illustration in black and white that kind of sets the mood and the place and the time of the story. So that one was called The Giant. This one is called The Library. And each chapter has its own beautiful set of illustrations. This book is just so beautiful. I'm not going to use the word wonder again, I promise. But it is kind of wonderful. Ha, different word. So I just really love this book. If you're a fan of Brian Selznick, I would absolutely, absolutely recommend checking this out. And even if you're new to this author and you just want to check him out for the first time, if you're looking for something different, this is unlike any book I've ever read before. It's really, really awesome. Highly recommend it. Kaleidoscope. You can't eat a kaleidoscope. Well, that's what we've got for you guys today. I hope that these books sound really awesome and fun. If so, please feel free to check them out from Farmington Community Library, and then come in and let us know what you think. Thanks so much, friends, and have a wonderful rest of the day.